Hi, ladies. Thank you for joining this final day of 7 days of rest. You are tenacious, and I love that. So, today's theme for me is interconnectivity. So, the theme is kinship for the chosen for the 7 days of rest. And for me, what that translated to is interconnectivity. So, what does it mean to be interconnected? I think it goes beyond being interconnected because interconnectivity is an actual force of existence. So, in order to know, in order to grasp, in order to grok what I'm referring to as a force, you have to have come to know yourself as that. So, your very being as a force. So, beyond, way beyond the culturally conditioned self, and much beyond even who I believe myself to be, who I am, and who I'm capable of becoming because I already am. So for me, our human journey on this planet at this time, for whatever reason in this timeline, has been to actually rediscover that. So go through all the shit so that we, the quote unquote lucky ones, might actually come to a point in our lives where we not only get glimpses of that, not only get awarenesses of interconnectivity, but begin to live our lives like that. So when I look at you, what's reflected back to me is nothing but myself. Different tenets, different aspects, different, what are those boys doing up there? Different expressions, different parts in our journey, different journeys even. And yet the truth of it is that we are one of the same. So how do I come to get to know myself as that? How do I come to get to know myself as that beyond the glimpses on my yoga mat, beyond the glimpses in my meditation, beyond the glimpses of awareness? How do I come to get to know myself as the living expression of the force of interconnectivity? So for me, it was a journey, as for everybody, and it continues to be a journey, as for everybody. And there are moments of absolutely forgetting myself, and then there are moments of this visceral remembering. So I consider myself lucky because I've manifested in the last short 5 years. It's like the life of my dreams that I didn't even know was the life of my dreams. And part of that was discovering, so the deep desire for connection. So I didn't have a fucking clue what interconnectivity would have meant at that point in my life, but I knew there was a deep desire for connecting and connection with others and to myself. And I remember being like 4 years old potentially and looking at my body and looking down and going, if I were not born to my parents, would I be the same person? Would I be this being? What if something was slightly different? Would I be here now? And I knew then intuitively, no, it took exactly those higher order expressions of choice. So choice from the membrane to be birthed into this world of matter to precisely those circumstances, to precisely those parents at precisely that time, to precisely those ways of it having unraveled as it did, for me to be able to be here today and have this conversation with you ladies. So I think what that says is that there's nothing ever bad or wrong. I think it just speaks to it all unfolds exactly as it should because there's a higher order intelligence playing. So I chose that painting behind me. So it's an ocean, and it's the ocean as I envision it in my home country of Albania. And I painted that when my grandmother was sick. So she'd had a multiplicity of strokes. So my matriarchal grandmother, she'd had a multiplicity of strokes, and she was dying, which is very interesting actually, because my husband's aunt just passed away. And so it's like there's, and I'm sick. And usually when a woman in my life is dying, I tend to get sick, which is very bizarre, and always here, always like a low grade cold, never really quite sure what it is, but there it is. So, so now I'm remembering when my grandmother passed away, not this one, my other grandmother, 3 days before she passed away, 3 days, I had this, I just wanted to wear her shirts. So I did not feel good. I felt kind of like off, and I kept pulling out of my closet her shirts to put on. And then we got the phone call that she's sick. And then, I didn't make these connections until much later, but I suppose the point that I'm making now is of interconnectivity, of that deep connection to these women who I know and cherish. And knowing that something's going on the other side of the world because of that connection. So I chose this painting for that reason. And I also chose this painting because it speaks to, I heard somebody speak to, if I am the wave, so there's like a multiplicity of metaphors going on there. If I am the wave in flow, if I feel like I'm disconnected from the totality of the ocean, I'm going to be fucking terrified of the crash at the end of the shore. I'm going to be in resistance of my whole life, living as an expression of that wave. But if I know that the moment of the crash of the wave is simply a return to a grander, much more expansive, and that's the paradox, but because it already is that. So I'm so the return to the ocean would be nothing but rejoicing and living my life as the wave in its unique expression, whether it's a massive tsunami or whether it's this very little, very gentle, whatever it happens to be, right? It's like that unique expression of the whole, when it knows its connection, it continues to live on, a meaningful life. It continues to live as what it already is. So I'll leave it for another day to have the conversation around who and what conditioned us to not know that we are the whole expressing uniquely. Who benefits? Who knows that we are the whole expressing uniquely and is using the rest of us as pawns to create a particular kind of reality? And what is the possibility inside myself when I begin to reclaim the totality of what I am? How fucking powerful am I in that nanosecond? In that 1 nanosecond. Repeat it over and over and over until I grok viscerally, it lands deeper and deeper and deeper, that I am interconnectivity. I am the whole expressing uniquely. So, where's the mouse seat? I wanted to read to you a quote from Louise. Did I close it? Where did it go? Okay, well, I guess I had 2 quotes, and this is the one that popped up now. So, internal referencing is trusting what you know without evidence of anyone else in agreement. So if everything out there tells me I am not God, there is a God and I'm not it, and yet inside myself, I know I am, and I choose to listen to that inner voice of intuition, of the I am that I am, of the expansive whole that I am, I can never, never, ever, ever be wrong. Because every moment is a moment of noticing and reclaiming and learning and discovering and playing and integrating, and on it goes. So I have no real agenda for today's yoga. I'm just going to lead an experience, gentle and a somatic flow, so somatic stretching rather than a lot of movement, because I have, I'm a little bit on the quote unquote sick side. So I'm just going to go very, very gentle and invite you to follow your intuition, follow your body, and see where that takes you. I'll lead in a particular way, but if that doesn't feel good for you, then you just, go where it feels good for you. So by the end of it, I'll try to keep the yoga not super long, because I have a 20-minute meditation that I'd like to do that Louise Lebrun guides. And that's about 24 minutes. And it is an experience of what it might feel like to surrender this notion that I am my body to the greater notion that I am the whole. And I am expressing from the whole through this body. So it's a really, really powerful guided reflection, if of course you're willing to allow it to be. So we'll just move back and bring this down and invite you to get to your yoga mat. Mm-hmm. So as always, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take note of what's going on with your body right now. So I'm noticing my belly's a little bit, I'll call it off. Sensations of what happens when I get symptoms of quote unquote IBS. So I know to pay attention, quite possibly to the quote unquote trigger from the conversation that we just had about my grandmother's, the lineage. So I invite you to notice where in your body you might feel some discomfort. Just bring whichever hand intuitively moves to that place of your body and hold there. Just put your hand on that part of your body. A nice exhale, and then inhale into that place of your body and maybe a little below it. So wherever feels good for you to do that. And notice if just by breathing into that space, just by mindfully bringing your awareness into that space, anything shifts. So relax, let your belly hang loose, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. And then with your other hand, intuitively move it to the place of your body where you feel the quote unquote solution to this issue resides. And breathe into the place where your first hand is and breathe out of from where the second hand is, so where the solution lives. Or you can breathe into where their solution is and breathe out to where the quote unquote problem is. It's up to you. Play with it. See what feels good for you. Open your throat and inhale and exhale audibly. As a metaphor for yourself that I am here. Your next inhale, just bring your hands down and take a moment and check in with your body. Well, you know what? I'll just go into a spiral. So move from the base of your spine, like you're mixing something with a spoon. Doesn't matter which direction you go. Just begin to spiral. This is a really good time to let out exhales from the body because it brings us into a parasympathetic nervous response, which means that it brings us into a relaxed state. Often it's the inhaling and holding or the exhaling and holding that causes stress in the body. You don't have to keep going in one direction. If you're called to move and go in another direction and then come back to this direction, you play with it. Mm. There's the power of intention. So mindfully moving and following the breath. So forcing nothing. Simply inviting the body to move how feels good for it. So there's that. There's the intention of inviting the body to move mindfully. And then there's creating space inside the body to be able to hear the next layer, the greater, the more, the deeper and higher intention. So paradox is the love language of the universe, right? So it's like the more you intentionally move, the more you intentionally allow your move to flow with a breath. And the more you open up your body, the more you can actually hear your capital S self. So your essence, your soul, your God force, your being, your I am. So if you haven't already played with moving the movement upward or downward or changing directions, I invite you to do that now. And if you can hear the creaking on my shoulders and neck, but it's like one mindset might say, oh, look, you don't exercise enough. And of course, and you haven't moved in a whole day and blah, blah. You haven't meditated, whatever. And another mindset might be, how wonderful. Stagnated air. I am in this moment moving stagnated air. I am breathing. I am here. I'm paying attention. I'm giving my body, my mind, my breath, my moment, some love and respect. Your next inhale, make it really, really nice and deep all the way to the base of your spine, and then squeeze Mula Bandha, hold everything in. And then exhale, empty out all the way, empty, empty, and then inhale all the way to the base of your spine, squeeze Mula Bandha, bring your attention to your third eye if it's not there. Hold. Exhale. We'll do that one more time. Inhale to the base of your spine. Squeeze Mula Bandha. Hold. Exhale. Just pause in the exhale. And when you're ready, Inhale. And just notice your body, your state of awareness, the quality of your breath, the quality of your thoughts. Wiggle your body a little bit. And if you know what just bring your legs to kind of like a 4-4 position. So what we'll do is we'll stretch the hip area here. So bring your hand to the floor and your other hand to your calf, or if you want to the floor, but I like it on the calf. And then what we'll do is we'll rock. So we'll just rock our hip forward and back, forward and back. It could be a very, very small movement. And if this is not comfortable, you can elevate yourself a little bit or put a pillow under your knee. And for me right now, it feels a little bit like it's not very smooth, and that's okay. Exhale when you go forward. Deep, deep exhales. If you like, you can put your hand on your hip and actually massage the little spot there. Oh, and notice if there's anything that's showing up for you on your chest or on your neck or in your jaw. So it's like, just like there's interconnectivity at higher order thoughts, there's also interconnectivity in the body. So you think you're moving your hip, but really you're working the totality of the line. Call it fascia, call it nervous system, call it, chakras. All of it led by your intention. Stretch your shoulders a bit and your neck a bit, very, very gently. If you're striving for something, you've gone too far. If you'd like to, you can move a little bit more not quite pigeon pose because we're not doing that, but moving more straight and forward so that you get a little bit deeper into the hip, but not if you have any issues with your knee or if this doesn't feel good. We're keeping the gentle rocking. If your body's inviting you to and you would like to, you can move more like a pigeon pose, but the idea is that you're opening up your hip and your whole side, and you can turn your head and then just keep rocking, but turn your head gently. Play with it first, then see if it feels good. And just come back very slowly to seated pose. And we'll massage our calves. So when you're pressing, I want you to press not as if you're massaging the top, but as if you're pressing in for depth. So feel it like at the middle of your bones, as opposed to on the surface. You want to be firm, but not grasping. So as above, so below, right? And as below, so above. So fractals. Our body too reflects a fractal nature. So when we're massaging our calves, it's like massaging the rest of our body. So bring your attention, your intention to notice when you press in a particular spot, where else might you feel it on your body? I want you to mindfully take several exhales where you can hear yourself letting go. I'm watching you. Oh, if you like, you can bring your attention to your knees now and just massage around the knees. And then we'll go to the other side. Now I have to remember which was my side. Okay. So again, kind of like both your feet are in a shape 4. Ooh, this one's much tighter. How fun. Okay. So Jennifer, come in that 4 and 4 position. If that's hard, just put a pillow under your butt to support you and under your knee. So what we'll do again with your hand supporting you, we'll just, we'll rock our hip forward and back. So it's like tucking in your tailbone, opening up and tucking in. So it's like a rotation of the pelvis. More than anything, you want to be exhaling to surrender, to let go, to let it all come out. As you do this, you can move your body. So open up at your shoulders, open up at your neck. You can just play with the angles. And you can even massage your hip here with your thumb. That feels nice. Whew. Oh my goodness. So if you remember from the first class, if you can notice, just bring your intention to noticing. And if you don't worry about it. The connection between your hips, your shoulders, and your neck, your throat. Oh. If you'd like, you can move your foot straighter so that you get a bit more of a stretch. Keep going with the rocking. I'm called to go closer to a full pigeon, and twist. Come back into a seated pose and just notice what you notice. Feeling a lot on my second chakra space. So I'm going to continue with rocking on the spine. It's going to be very gentle. So the idea is just those pelvic tilts, but now in this position and pushing and pulling with your hands. So the spinal flex. So we've done a few times. You can go slow or you can go fast. It's up to you. Inhale forward, exhale back. And the idea is to rotate your pelvis, and then when you're exhaling, tuck your belly in a little bit. So that's the new thing that you can try, and then that actually moves energy up the spine. It activates the Kundalini energy. Pretty awesome. I'm going to introduce you to something else while we're doing this. So you keep going with a movement and just listen to what I say and then see if you can follow. So take your hands from your shins and bring it to your knees and then lean back a little bit. And now the movement's going to be from your upper chest. So same movement, but from the upper chest, and you're leaning back a little bit. So see how that feels different. This is a very difficult area to normally open up. It's where we constrict a lot. Particularly for some of us that love our phones and our computers and sitting down. Don't worry about how fast you're going. Go with whatever feels good. But keep your arms straight and lean back just a little. And then once you get the flow of the movement, notice, where is your attention? What's happening with your breath? I like to keep my attention at the third eye, the pituitary gland, right in the middle of my head. But you can also bring your attention to the base of your spine. And the breath leads the movement. If you're getting tired, you can slow down or you can move lower on the spine. It's up to you. On your next inhale, just pause the inhale at the base and hold at the base of your spine. Squeeze, hold, hold, hold. Elongate your body while you're holding. And then exhale. Inhale deeply. Hold at the base of your spine. Squeeze Mula Bandha like you're stopping the flow of urination, and hold. Exhale. Take your time with the exhales. And then inhale. Hold, squeeze Mula Bandha, hold as long as feels comfortable for you. And then exhale. Stay here. Mindfully elongate your spine. So your tailbone pressing down, your chest just slightly high, your chin tucked in, and it's like somebody's pulling you from the top of your head upward. Feel how strong you are in this moment as a metaphor for how powerful you are. Let's do a few shoulder rolls here. Just take your shoulders and roll them around themselves. Okay. I'd like to do some side stretching. So you can sit in this position and stretch. So you can reach over and stretch. You can turn it into a flow. Very, very gentle. So it's like inhale, hand up, and exhale, down. And play with the angles. So if you want to hang out on one side for a bit and just play with the angles, you could do that. What I'm called to do is be on one side. So what you want to do is actually, it's a bi-directional move. So pushing down from one side and opening up through the shoulder. And then moving forward and back. So it's like playing with the angle. And you'll notice it throughout the whole side. And you can move your neck. Just play with it. Just play with what feels good for you. Exhale, 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 audible. Ah. You can also just hang for a moment. Find a spot that feels really good. And hang. Let your neck be loose. Loosen the grasp on your hips. Use your supporting hand to hold you up. Nothing for you to do, but hang. Move to the other side. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Maybe even take a pause in the middle and just notice. Push with your hand that's on the floor just a little bit to support your low back, and then relax into the stretch. And relax your hips if they're grasping. Soften your jaw, soften your third eye. Take nice exhales. Then come back to center. Put your hands on your knees and take a moment and just notice how it feels to be in your body. So I think the final movement pose that we'll engage in is neck rolls. But what we'll do is be very slow and mindful of the position of our head. So just start with bowing your head forward as is comfortable, and just allow it to hang for a moment. Let it be heavy. And very gently, maybe you can move it side to side, or you can go in one direction and follow what your neck wants to do, really. But let it be heavy and hanging. For me, it's like a really small micro movement. And that's enough. If you find a spot that feels really good to hang out in, I encourage you to do that. To stay there, to notice your attention, to breathe to the base of your spine, as in your attention at the base of your spine, as an invitation for deep breathing, as a metaphor for deep living. That rhymed. That was a good one. Mm. My head wants to start going in a circle now, so that's what I'm doing. And then immediately pausing. That feels really good here. You really don't need to pull your head because it's already quite heavy. Just allowing it to hang comfortably, safely, will open up much more space than pulling at it to go somewhere it doesn't want to. It's not ready to. Keep playing with what feels good, with angles, with movement. Keep exhaling audibly. Notice if when you exhale audibly, there's a bigger surrender. Notice the interplay between the neck, shoulders, and throat and jaw and temples. Notice if you're clenching with your hips and invite them to relax. Maybe invite your head, if it wants to, just do a few neck rolls. But honor the angle. So it doesn't have to be very deep. Honor the angle that feels right for you in this moment. So for me, it's really small circles. When you're ready, reverse. When you're ready, just bring your head on top of your shoulders. Lengthen and relax. And just notice how your body feels. So as you are here, I invite you to keep your eyes closed. I'm going to play a meditation, rather a guided reflection called core expansion. So you can be seated and be comfortable, or you can lie down. It's up to you. So as you're having the experience of the core expansion, I want you to envision, actually, you know what? Just follow what Louise says because it's brilliant. So get cozy, and I'll find a way to do that now.